until I met Mr. Shyam Joshi. After meeting him, I started to gain some confidence. Here's a man who's already done some serial.
He did Hum Log also.
That's right. So I could see that he understood the language of television storytelling. That made me a little confident. Then a couple of sittings with him again made me feel that if this guy is with me, then we'll probably be able to do something about it. Then was the question of the subject. When the subject of partition came up, it did both things. It excited me. It also made me frightened. I said, now that's a tall order. Because doing something on partition at that time was a bit of a... They were also a little skeptical themselves, but I said, no. All my life, I've been trying to do things differently. So if I have to do something for the little screen, let me do something different. And, of course, we had a few sittings and we were able to... The DG at that time also was very encouraging, and together we came around and we were able to formulate this. But honestly, I shot it like a film in 16 mm. It used to be developed, then dubbed, and getting all the... The secret for me was, if I'm going beyond your question,
please.
is I took most of the artists who were Punjabi. So the essence of Punjab was in them already. It may have been some generations down, but it was there. And they all knew about what had happened during the partition. They were from families of... So that helped a lot. Because when you're artists who are actually telling your story, if they are involved in such a way that... And Mr. Joshi with his nuanced writings, with the Punjabi Nahi Na, you know, the lovely little things he did with it. And
you know, Rohini showed us a clip this morning when you were on her radio show, and actually I didn't know the background of that. You were actually sort of pressurized, or you were told to tone it down, especially the rioting scenes, etc.
Later on, as we went into the camps,
right.
They said, "No, listen, take it easy." I had to turn around and tell Shyam Joshi, I think ultimately they want us to convert it into a soap opera. So let's do it with a smile. Let's do it willingly. Keep the heart of everything as it is. And I think it being a sensitive subject, you have to be careful. Film still, it will come, and then it's there for a while and then it's gone. But this was going on and on and on, and it might create certain problems.
Yeah.
Of course, Tamas had the same problem, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll come to that, yeah.
But it was, I could understand their anxiety and their... so one did water it down a bit and keep to the main stories and keep the partition feeling on the peripheral side. The families grew, which also happened. A lot of people prospered while after coming here. It's not like all stories were...
So do you think it is because you toned it down that there weren't any protests or you weren't taken to the court?
No, there were no protests, and I was never... But they were worried that it might erupt because some news from here and there must have crept into them. They heard things, and maybe a particular episode had a bit of a resonance somewhere, and it provoked a kind of a reaction. Yeah. So, but it was not that wide and that... So, but we have managed to keep both the story intact and the anxiety quelled.
Shyam, if you might, I think I should just quickly ask him about Tamas, really, because with Tamas you took the source, Bhisham Sahni's novel, and Bhisham Sahni co-wrote the script with you also. So obviously you were very faithful to the book. But you actually, and during it was during the broadcast of it on Doordarshan, you want to talk about that you were taken to the court and there were some major issues. Were there concerns before? Did Doordarshan look at the script?
No, the major issue happened before the telecast began.
Okay.
Actually, and but in fact, I got the feeling of it even before we even shot a single frame. I was in Delhi, and I was the second unit director and cameraman on Gandhi.
Gandhi, yes.
So during that period, I happened to go to Mandi House. Some friends were there. I went there and I saw a book shop in the corner. I just moved towards the bookshop and then I noticed a lone book on the top shelf. There was nothing else, just one book was there. I read the title and it said Tamas. There was something about the word. I liked it. It's a Sanskrit word. But I liked it. I said, Dikhao zara. So dekha. And then when I saw the blurb, so I discovered that this was about partition. And partition is one subject that I wanted to work on ever since I became, a film cameraman to start with. I trained as a cinematographer. I got the book, but didn't start reading it. Shooting was going on. After a week or so, I got the time in the evening. We came back home early, and I started reading it. The very first sentence of the book, or the first paragraph, I remember because it just happened to me. It said, दीवार में बने आले में what you call it, एक दिया था और दिया ने एक झपकी ली. I said, अच्छा, very first sentence में action आ गया. So, and then I read the sentence and the paragraph. I couldn't stop reading after that. It was very gripping, and something about the book was that I now can see, which attracted me to it, was it was suffused with compassion. The book was written in 74.
Right.
The partition happened in 47. So apparently the writer had enough time to reflect upon it. It was not a knee-jerk reaction to an event. And then I felt one or two other very strong qualities of that narrative. One was, there was no effort to pass judgment on any particular community or any particular party or something like that. No. He just described what he had seen.
Right.
And whatever is in the book has been witnessed by him or he heard about them. Because later on, a few years ago before he died, he published a small book in which all his experiences of partition were recorded. And I was surprised that every single incident that happens in the book had actually happened to him in life. So it had a sense of authenticity. So a combination of compassion and being non-judgmental about things is something that attracted me. And that seeped into the way he created characters. His language is very simple. Bisham Sani, if anybody has read the books, if not, then I suggest you read them. It's such a simple writer, but his writing touches you very, very deeply. So this is, I took it as a, गाने वाले के पीछे स्थान पूरा होता है ना, तो वो एक सुर लग गया होता है. But that's how I started.
Yeah, but did you, before you started the shoot, and when, I'm sure you had to present the script to Doordarshan.
Something very interesting happened during the shooting of Gandhi. during that period, there was a meeting arranged with Mrs. Indira Gandhi. And the meeting was arranged by the ministry, where all the directors of Hindi, of the Indian films were invited to meet the Prime Minister. So I was also invited because my, the very first film, Akrosh, was in the competition. Right. And we were told, the Prime Minister will come, every one of you will get 2 minutes to go and speak to her. And be careful, don't speak too long. I said, okay. And log baat kar rahe the. I had no idea what I'm going to speak to her about. Karte karte, mera turn aa gaya. Jao, 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 baat karo. So I went, I had nothing else, but before that I had read the book in that thing. So I just said, Madam, if there is serious work on partition, serious work, will the government support it? So she said, what do you mean by support it? I said, money. I said, for a film like this, I don't expect the industry to support it, but I'll need some extra support. She said, after that, the important thing, she said, when do you want to make it? So I said, whenever the money is available, funds are available to me. So she said, it will all depend upon the political situation in the country when you make the film. I suddenly, I had no idea. I knew it was a very good book and it was a very touching book, but I never realized that it has the potential to create political ripples. I said, thank you, ma'am.
By the time the film was made, I'm sorry, but 88, she had passed away already.
Yeah, I know. But was challenged immediately. And the film was shown to the judges. I remember Justice Sujata Manohar and Justice Linton in Blaze preview theatre in Kolaba on Sunday. They sat for 4.5 hours continuously and they watched the whole thing. And they had the argument in the theatre itself. Then they said, tomorrow we will have the judgment. Tomorrow was the day when the Doordarshan had decided to start the telecast.
So it was the same day.
It
right?
has to be the same day. The telecast was to start at 10 o'clock in the evening. And next day, they announced that the film will be shown. Everybody was happy from our side, of course. And then somebody came and to say that there's a call from my house. And I was told that time there were no
cell phones.
I mean, there were no these smartphones around. And they said, please don't come back because there are people outside the house. I said, okay. I sent my rest of the staff who were with me, and I landed up at Shyam's place.
That's a safe place to go when these kind of things happen.
So I spent the night there, and then onwards I had the police protection all the time for 8 weeks.
Wow. Yeah. So we'll talk more about. So Shyam, we watched Momo last night, and it's really one of my all-time favorite films. It's so adorably charming, and there's so much humor. Actually, today I'd forgotten Bunyad. There's so much humor in Bunyad also, but. And I remember confirming with Khalid Mohammed that he actually wore a burqa with his friend to go see Psycho. So, you know, we witnessed that right at the beginning of the film. How did that come about? So, and also I would like to know is how much of, did he actually fictionalize any bit, or is actually pure narrative of his aunt and his grand aunt and his grandmother?
Well, as far as I know, it's the story of his great aunt.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, when before I actually thought in terms of making it as a film, Khalid in fact had written a story.
Okay.
Written it as a little piece for Times of India. And after that, you see, a very strange event took place. This was about his great aunt who had come, from Pakistan and had trouble staying, and it was very difficult for her to stay beyond a certain
visa,
beyond the point of visa, and he was having that kind of a problem. Now, I was planning to do the film. I had worked out a script. This part wasn't there because it hadn't happened. In my story, there wasn't originally the part that the police come and take her back. That wasn't part of it because it hadn't happened.
Okay.
But it happened when after I had written the script, and then she was in fact toughed back into setback.
Right.
And then my story remained unfinished in many ways.
Right.
And then it so happened that the old lady came back.
Which happens at the end of the film.
Which happens at the end of the film.
Right.
So once she came back, then I had my story for the film.
But you made the film in '94. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
And when I'm watching it, of course, they go see Garam Hawa,
Yeah.
the Bobby's songs playing. So obviously you said it in like '83,
Yeah.
or except before that, the Garam Hawa was in the '70s.
Yeah.
When Mammo's still not alive, I would imagine, probably.
No. You see, Mammo had come, and then she had gone back.
Right.
Now, the fact was that she was trying to come back again. The story was that she couldn't come back again.
Right.
But she does come back again.
Right.
And it happened, at that time, what had happened was that Mammo had got, she got married to someone
who moved to Pakistan.
Who moved to Pakistan. And then when that gentleman died, his family, kind of threw her out of the house. And she had no place to go.
Right.
So she was staying in mosques and various other places. Finally, she found a way of getting back. And that's when she came back, returned to her sister's place. That is Khalid's grandmother's place. And after that, that's the main part of the story.
Right.
Yeah.
I know in connection with this whole weekend that we've been here, really, I mean, the dialogue when she says, I was born in Panipat.
Yeah.
This is my home, and I think in your film also you have characters talking about that.
Yeah.
The countries kept changing or something. I think it's really, remarkable, beautiful. By the way, I don't know if you guys many of you saw Mammo, but have you guys seen Zubeda? I'm sure you've seen Zubeda. I was so thrilled because Mammo makes an appearance in Zubeda also.
Yeah. Because it's part of the same family.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same story. Really.
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely. I'm trying to get a sense from both Ramesh Shipiji and Govind Ranji, but political issues, any protests, were there any related to Mammo?
Not really.
Make the story about Pakistan?
No, nothing as dramatic as what happened to Govind.
Yeah.
Nothing of that kind.
Yeah.
There really was no problem as far as the film was concerned.
Right.
Because it was made actually for the National Film Development Corporation. It was made for NFDC. So in fact, the government was a participant in the making of the film in that sense. So I don't think we had any problems there as far as Mammo was concerned.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely film.
Neither did we.
Well, also you had
Neither did we.
You had the protection of the government also through Darshan.
Yeah, but as a matter of fact, traffic stopped on both sides of the border when Bunyad was on.
Yeah.
That's
so,
work of yours.
So there was nothing objectionable, but they were glued. They were enjoying it, and
Bunyad changed the way actually how Indians started watching television. It's very, very